The Indian Child Pride and the Old Arab Husband by Dr. A. Ahmed. This narration continues the story The Arab Sugar Daddy and the Beautiful Indian Girl. It was written in English and translated into Arabic by Dr. Ahmed. It is a novel narrated in 6 books. Book 2, The Arab Sugar Daddy turns into the Granddaddy the Devil. Copyright. All rights are reserved. No part of this book may be reproduced, stored, tribal system, or transmitted in any form or by enemies without the prior written permission of the author, except by the reviewer, who may quote brief passages from the review for printing in a general magazine, a school journal, or an university article. All characters in this novel are fictitious, and any resemblance to real people, living or dead, is purely coincidental. Chapter 21. The Arab pedophile is looking for a new female child as a bride. Sheikh Faiz bin Ahmed had not returned to India for 10 years after his bad experience with his former Indian car driver and business client, the dangerous lunatic man Muhammad Khan. The old Saudi man made an oath with Allah by placing his right hand on a copy of his Holy Quran and swearing that he would never go again to the land of the Hindu idolaters and Muslim beggars. He kept this solemn oath for 10 years, albeit his lust for female children inevitably drew him back. Someone in Tehran city told him that there is a Muslim city in India called Hyderabad where there are Muslim marriage agencies. He was told those marriage agencies could supply him with a pretty little child bride as young as 8 or 9 years old. The pedophile released the memory of how he practiced tying of female children with the 7-year-old child bride Iffat Khan at that age, and how he took her virginity at night. After sleeping with her for 10 years, she is becoming an adult girl and has lost much of her sex appeal as a female child bride. He wanted it to start all over again with another fresh underage child bride. So he broke his oath with Allah and flew back to Hindustan. As it is habit with subterfuge, he lied to his first Indian wife and her Iranian maid servants and the terrorist Afghani security guard, and instead told them that he was flying to Lahore city in Pakistan for an important business trip. But he flew from Tehran to Mumbai and ended up in Hyderabad city. Upon his arrival in the Islamic city, Hyderabad airport, he fell to the old Saudi man, much like any poor African Muslim country such as Eritrea, Sudan, or Somalia. Everybody is a Muslim, and the city itself is named after the name of an ancient Muslim queen. The name Hyderabad reportedly had its origins in an affair between the Muslim king Mahmud Guli Qutb Shah and a local Telugu Hindu courtesan named Bhagmati. He named the city Bhagya Nagar after her, and after she converted to Islam and took on the name of Hyder Mahal, he named the city Hyderabad. It is just like the Taj Mahal. The Taj Mahal is an ever white marble mausoleum on the right bank of the river Yamuna in the Indian city of Agra. It was commissioned in the year 1632 by the Mughal Emperor Shah Jahan to house the tomb of his favorite wife Mumtaz Mahal. There are mosques on every street of the city Hyderabad, more than the houses of Allah the old Arab man had seen in his city of Jeddah, even more than the mosques of Mecca and Medina combined. Every Muslim man has a dirty long beard, and every Muslima woman walking on the street is covered with a dusty black burqa. Their children are emaciated and appear to him like those thousands of little beggars he saw filling the streets and local train railway station in Bombay. Everyone looks as if he has been buried in the ground and then exhumed. People are covered with dust and mud from head to toe. The, the pollution caused by cars, buses, and rickshaws could make a person suffocate to death. The streets are filthy and the old buildings are dilapidated. There are no garbage containers and the garbage is freely and thoughtlessly strewn everywhere. If a visitor does not vomit upon his arrival in that filthy Muslim city, he would never vomit again in his life, even if he lived in a house full of decomposed dead carcasses of animals and human urines and feces. Children and animals urinate and defecate everywhere. It is the most filthy and bad smelling city he ever visited in his life. The domestic animals and chickens roaming in the streets and narrow lanes in thousands. The flies in millions and mosquitoes in billions. It is a miracle that human beings could live in such an unhealthy environment without falling seriously sick or dying on the roads like stray animals. Therefore, the rich old geezer has regretted that he has come to that dirty Muslim city to further his pedophilic plans. He could not believe that in such a city he could find a little damsel that he would marry and enjoy her young body for the rest of his life with her. He even doubted that anyone could find a healthy female among the decrepit women he is seeing walking on the streets like skeletons that have been wrapped in black burial clothes. But since he is already here, the old man decided to see it through with the hope that he might find a young underage girl, whatever her health condition might be, and take her to Tehran city, feed her, nourish her to good health, and then start his predatory ways with her healthy body. With those devilish thoughts in mind, the evil old man spent a few hours resting in a nice hotel, then took a taxi and headed to the one of the foremost marriage agencies in town, which he found in the phone book. The Dalal or the Bim who is running the marriage agency is known as Farooq Khan. In Hindi and Urdu language, the Bim is called Dalal. In Arabic, the Bim is called Qawad or Ba'arras. The Bim Farooq Khan has a beard 1 meter long that looks like an old dirty broom. He has the black mark of the Islamic prayer on his forehead, which resembles the mark of the beast, which is 666. Most of the devout Muslims who regularly pray 5 times each day would have those marks due to the repeated touching of their prayer mats with their foreheads during prostration. It looks ugly, but Muslims love it and consider it proof of their devotion to Allah. In his left hand, the Dalal is clutching a long prayer rosary, and in his right hand, a green copy of his holy Quran, from which he is reciting verses. When the old Saudi man walks into the main office of his prestigious marriage agency, ironically, his copy of the Holy Quran is in Arabic, a language as foreign to him as Japanese or Chinese. This is one of the miracles of non-Arabic speaking Muslims, but it is not the right place to try to figure it out. Arabic for them is all Greek, but still they can recite the Quran in Arabic better than Arabs. Muslims all over the world are required to read the Quran and pray 5 times a day in Arabic, although the majority of them can neither read nor write nor even speak that difficult language of the Arabs of the Middle East and North Africa. The Muslim Bim Farooq Khan proudly told the old Saudi man that he had been to his holy country and visited the cities of Mecca and Medina and done the Hajj rituals 3 times. The Arab old geezer has praised him for his religious piety and asked Allah to forgive his sins and to bless his wife, sons, and daughters too. After a little chatting, the old man revealed the purpose of his visit. He said blatantly that he wanted it to marry an exceedingly small girl, no older than 8 years of age. Farooq Khan told him that he could supply a girl of that age, but he warned him that he would not be able to take her to his country at that small age. He said further that while he could forge a birth certificate for that age and through a bribe get an Indian passport issued to her as a 17-year-old maid servant, still the Bombay International Airport police would probably see right through it. A young female child at that age would look small and childlike, befitting her age. For that reason, the Bim Farooq Khan advised the Saudi pedophile to go for a small girl who already has her first period but is still a virgin. But the old geezer said he would not accept a girl who had already started to menstruate. As an excuse, he said he would not trust such a girl, adding that anyone might have already stolen her virginity before him without his knowledge. Eager to retain his wealthy Saudi client, the Muslim Bim suggested that the old man should go for a 13-year-old girl who has not yet had her first period. The old man strongly rejected that suggestion and said that a 13-year-old girl would be too old for him. In no uncertain terms, he is not going to marry a child bride above 9 years of age. He reminded the Muslim Bim that this the ideal age his gracious Prophet Muhammad had consummated his marriage with his beloved child bride Aisha and enjoyed her virginity before any other man touched her before him. After 2 hours of intense discussion and bantering, the two wicked men settled for an 11-year-old girl. When all that critical issue of age is finally decided, it took another hour of haggling to decide a wife's bride or a dowry they could both agree upon. All the nitty-gritty concluded, Farooq Khan took the old man to a room where he could pick up his preferred underage child bride. Chapter 22. Choosing the underage child bride. The so-called renowned and prestigious marriage agency has many rooms, each room designed for a specific age group of lovely child brides. In one particular room, the old Saudi man found 15 Indian Muslim girls aged 11. Those 15 little underage girls look like Barbie dolls dressed in burqas, but for the sake of the business, they have their faces uncovered. By the way, in some Muslim countries, Barbie dolls must by law have hijabs or niqabs. The Sharia American Muslims are trying to push for the implementation of the same in the United States of America. The Saudi wealthy business tycoon demanded that all the 11-year-old girls should be stripped of their burqas so that he could make good his choice. And the biased Bim ordered all the little girls to come out of their Islamic ugly cocoons for the Saudi man so he can make his proper selection. The small girls removed their black burqas and stood like dolls in their Indian sarwal kameez. The old man demanded further that he wanted each underage girl to remove her sarwal kameez and remain in her bra and underwear only. Farooq Khan rejected that demand because it is haram in Islam for the man to see the aura or the nakedness of a girl who is not his wife yet. Howbeit, when the rich old man insisted on his demand and threatened to cancel the deal and withdraw his money, the Bim agreed to the haram situation for the sake of the big cash he has received. Some of the little girls said they would not strip in front of each other. They said they could do so one at a time and behind the modesty afforded it by a curtain. The Muslim Indian Bim and the old Saudi man agreed to accommodate that moral demand. Then the dirty pedophile has been asked by the biased Muslim Bim to sit inside a small room, much like a fitting room in a closed store of ladies. After that, the 15 small girls are ordered by Mr. Farooq Khan to enter that fitting room one after another, strip off their sirwal kameez and stand half naked in front of the old man. Then she can put her clothes back and come out. Each girl has been given a number starting from girl number 1 to girl number 15. The old man has been told by Farooq Khan to write down the number of the girl that won his heart. The old man touched the body of each girl as if he were buying a lamb from the sheep market. His hands wandered between their breasts and buttocks and did not spare the faces and lips too. He managed to kiss and hug some of them, but some resisted and refused to allow him to do haram and fahisha with them before marriage. If any underage girl would have not resisted the dirty old man, he would have raped her right there before marrying her. One female child bitten his hand when he tried to insert it in her tiny pussy. Another female girl pushed him until he fell because he tried to sodomize her small ass through his exposed phallus. The wicked old man claimed to have made the wrong choices 3 times, so each underage girl has been forced by the Bim to enter behind the curtain and strip off her clothes in front of the pedophile 3 times. Finally, girl number 13 is chosen to be the new underage child bride of the wealthy Saudi man Sheikh Faiz bin Ahmed. Her name is Amina Haidar Ali. As soon as he chose her, the old man took hold of her hand and began to walk her with him out of the fitting room, heading toward the door as if he bought a Jariya girl from the slave market at the time of the Prophet Muhammad. Farooq Khan stopped him and said to him he would not allow him to take her to his hotel unless the Islamic halal nikah contract is performed. He said further that he could not allow him to commit haram acts with the Muslim girl without marrying her. The old man said he had already paid her price or a dowry, and by the agreement of the financial deal, she had become his right-hand possession or a female sex slave. But the biased Indian dalal or a bim, Mr. Farooq Khan said to the old geezer that he is running a marriage agency and not a slave trade for selling Indian girls to Arab men. Unwillingly, the old geezer agreed to perform the Islamic halal nikah or a marriage contract. After that, the so-called righteous Muslim Bim sent one of his boys to the lucky chosen girl's parents to carry the good news to them and bring the father of the girl to sign the marriage contract of his daughter with her wealthy Saudi bridegroom. In less than half an hour, a man came with the messenger of the good news. The newly arrived man looks like he has not eaten food for many days and died and was buried in the ground, and his corpse had been exhumed from his grave as a scary zombie. Shortly after him, the mazun or a mullah of a nearby mosque is phoned and called in. The mazun, who has a beard longer than that of the bim, came with two adult male witnesses. Shortly after that, with the blessings of the father, the halal nikah contract between Sheikh Fayed bin Ahmed and Amina Haidar Ali was conducted according to the Holy Book of Allah, the Quran, and his beloved and the Sunnah of his beloved Prophet Muhammad. Then and only then had the old man been allowed to take his bride to his hotel. When the so-called halal marriage contract was conducted, the Indian child bride was 11 and her Arab bridegroom was 80 years old. Before the newly wedded couple left the premises of that renowned Muslim marriage agency, the proprietor Farooq Khan took the aged bridegroom aside and gave him a piece of good advice. He told him not to consummate his nikah with the girl until they had safely reached his Arab country. The word nikah in Sharia has various meanings. The most widely used means legal fornication with any number of female slaves, lawful adultery with 2, 3, or 4 women at the same time, legalized rape with underage female children, and of course, the conventional marriage with one woman. But the old man saw that Farooq Khan wanted to trick him. Therefore, he rejected the advice and determined in his heart, to consummate his marriage with his child bride on the very same day he married her and to steal her virginity. He did that before he wanted to do that before a young, handsome Muslim man could kidnap her and with her, or a wicked Hindu policeman separate her from him, as is the case happened to him with his former Christian wife, Christy, and her boyfriend, Bobby, and the Hindu police Shankaracharya. He knew and understood that his new little underage child bride, Amina Haidar Ali, has already crossed the lawful prescribed age of 9 years for nikah according to the Islamic Sharia. When they reached the hotel, the old geezer raped the little underage girl until she began to cry loudly. Since everyone in the hotel is a Muslim and the hotel management has seen the marriage contract certificate between the Muslim Arab man and the Muslima Indian girl, no one intervened or tried to save the little girl from her rabies. From that day, the old man raped the 11-year-old girl and continued to rape her day and night until the marriage agency arranged her Indian passport. The old man already has a maid servant visa with him, so 1 week from the day he came to the Muslim city, Hyderabad, he took his new child bride to Hyderabad airport and headed to Tehran via Mumbai. Before she got married to the 80-year-old Saudi man, Amina was a virgin and had not yet had her menses. She was simply not ready in the slightest way for sex. When the old man raped her on the day she was soul in marriage to him, she felt as if he was digging a hole inside her tiny vagina. She bled profusely and experienced unbearable pain. The old geezer used his money and bribed someone from the hotel, brought a corrupt Muslim female nurse and treated the copiously bleeding private parts of his new child bride. He was scared if he took her to the hospital, the Indian doctors or Hindu nurses might get him in trouble with the secular Indian law which forbid the marriage of an underage girl. On the following day, she experienced more pain than the first day. The old man caused many serious abrasions and deep cuts in her private parts. The dirty old geezer had even tried anal sex with his new child bride, but he could not be able to penetrate her tiny anus. His large phallus is too big to go through such a tiny hole, but he continued to rape her in her tiny vagina. Wherefore, the second rape gave her more pain than the first one. Every day, the pain increased and her torture did not diminish. As is his evil plans all along, the old man continued to rape her day and night until her travel papers have been completed. The underage girl Amina wished for death before the old man could take her to his Arab country and continue causing her anguish and torture. When her parents came to say goodbye to her at the Hyderabad airport, she begged them to take her away from the old man. Her father shouted at her and told her that he would cut her throat by his knife if she said that again. Also, he told her not to tell anyone that the old Arab man was her husband or try to run away from him. If anyone asked her, she should say he is her Saudi employer and she is simply his new Indian maid servant. Out of fear of her strict Muslim father, the little girl agreed to go with the old man to the aeroplane. Chapter 23. Arresting an Arab pedophile inside Mumbai International Airport. It is not for if it is not for a steady supply of Viagra, the 80-year-old Saudi geezer would not have been able to rape his new underage female child bride, Amina Haider Ali. He is very advanced in age and lost all his sexual ability, which he used in the past to rape his former child bride, Iffat Khan. Moreover, this time he did not practice the tying of female children with his new bride because she is already 11 years old and passes the minimum age for sexual intercourse required by the Islamic Sharia. Therefore, he began to rape her from day one. At any rate, inside the plane, Amina Haider Ali felt as if she was sitting beside a ravenous wolf. His old face and long beard reminded her of the story of Beauty and the Beast that her school female teacher narrated to her in the school. She was sweating and trembling in fear from the Hyderabad airport until their plane landed at the Santa Cruz domestic airport in Mumbai. Then the newly wedded couple with other passengers who are in transit are transferred by a big bus from the domestic airport to the international airport. When they reached the departure hall, the abused underage child wife Amina Haider Ali understood that she was far enough from her dangerous Muslim father. Consequently, she began to cry and resist when the aged Arab man tried to pull her with him and walk her to the plane. her screaming and resisting drew the curiosity of the other passengers and some airport officials. One wealthy Indian woman interfered and asked Amina in Hindi because why she was crying. The old man shouted at the Indian woman who began to talk to his child bride. He talked to her in Arabic and ordered her not to talk to his khaddamiya. The Indian woman did not understand his Arabic words and continued to speak to Amina in Hindi. But one Indian man understood the meaning of the word khaddamiya and told the Indian woman that the little girl was traveling abroad as a maid servant to the Arab old man. Immediately, Amina spoke to the woman and told her why she was crying and refusing to go with the Saudi man. She exposed the old man and said openly that she is not his khaddamiya but his Muslim wife. The people who heard her words were shocked when they learned that the 80-year-old Arab man was the husband of the underage Indian girl. The Indian woman called the Mumbai International Airport police immediately, and the matter became an official complaint. When the police arrived at the crime scene, the old Saudi man is placed under arrest. He is handcuffed, slapped, and kicked by a police officer in front of everyone. Some Indian woman spat on the face of the old man, and some men call him Terima Kichut, Teriba Hankichut, Chutia Sala. Go and marry and fuck your mother or sister, you fucking dirty old Arab geezer. Some of the extremely outraged passengers said to him, go and fuck a goat or a camel in your Sahara Desert backward society. Some people pushed him and some punched him, while some incredibly angry passengers even tried to kill him. So the crowd would have killed the old man if it were not for the six tough police officers that surrounded him. After that, the notorious womanizer, the child abuser, the pedophile was dragged out of Mumbai International Airport and has been thrown into a police truck and handed away like trash taken in a dump truck. The little girl Amina has been taken in a different police car and sent to the hospital for a rape test. The test proved that the child Amina had been brutally raped by the old Saudi man, and the hospital sent the results to the police. When she is questioned at the hospital, Amina reveals her real age to the police authority. As a consequence of this disturbing news, the city of Bombay is turned upside down when the midday newspapers publish the breaking news. The headline reads, an 80-year-old Saudi man weds an 11-year-old Hyderabadi Muslim girl. Citizens of Mumbai demonstrated in thousands, went to the police headquarters and demanded that the old Saudi man be severely punished. The main leaders of the Hindu Shiv Sena political party stood behind the wave of popular support and mirrored the call for capital punishment to the wicked old Arab man. There are, however, a few Muslim organized marches and protests that call for the immediate release of the Muslim old man and his Muslim wife. The religious leader said that the marriage of the Saudi Muslim man and the Indian Muslim girl was valid according to the Holy Quran and the Sunnah of their infallible Prophet Muhammad. They quoted the example of the 9-year-old child bride Aisha and the 54-year-old Prophet Muhammad. The Mumbai police contacted the police of Hyderabad, who then ordered the immediate arrest of Amina's father and the owner of the marriage agency, Farooq Khan, the Imam of the mosque who acted as a mazoon and conducted the unlawful marriage, and the two male witnesses who signed the marriage contract. According to Indian marriage law, a girl is not allowed to get married until she reaches 18 and the boy is 22, 21. The only exception to the rule allows a 17-year-old girl to wed with her parental consent. In India, legally at least, an Indian girl has the right to marry regardless of parental wishes when she is 18 years old. The law applies to all Indian girls regardless of religion and caste. Sex with a girl below 17 is deemed to be statutory rape or a rape of a minor. As provided for by the laws of the land, the old Saudi man has been arrested for rape, kidnap, and the attempt to smuggle as his female sex slave a minor Indian girl out of the country. Under the persuasive and harsh methods of interrogation of the Indian police, Sheikh Faiz bin Ahmed admitted that he contracted the little girl in marriage and slept with her for 7 days and 7 nights. However, he tried to justify his marriage on the grounds that the marriage agency deceived him about the real age of the girl. He falsely claimed he had been told by the owner of the agency and the girl's father that Amina Haider Ali was 17 years old when the marriage contract was conducted. The Mumbai police did not buy that line of justification, and they flogged the lying old geezer mercilessly until he spoke the truth. After his harsh interrogation, the old Saudi man has been placed on remand, awaiting a dangerous trial. If he is convicted, he might be sent to the gallows and hanged to death. In the meantime, his victim Amina Haider Ali has been placed under the care of the Maharashtra state government, which decided to place her in a foster home, awaiting adoptive parents who have been vetted by the government. Given the publicity generated by her sensitive case, the government has to deal in 1 month alone with 500,000 applications from wealthy Indian people all over the country who wanted to adopt Amina Haider Ali as their adored daughter. Chapter 24: Meeting the imprisoned old pedophile servant. Iffat Khan is sitting on a bench inside the Arsa Road men's jail, waiting for the guards to bring her Saudi husband, who has been arrested and jailed for more than 4 months. At this time, she is 18 years old and her Arab husband is 80 years old. She has spent 10 years in his captivity and sexual rape and abuse, 3 years in Eritrea and 7 years in Iran. For 10 long years, he has abused and subdued her. He has turned her into a sex slave and a female robot. Even though he is in jail, he continues to frighten and control her. He is controlling her as if he has a wireless remote control in his hand that he can use it to move her from place to place. She is like his wingless, colorful, beautiful bird, which can only fly when given wings by him. While he is sitting, waiting on the bench, while she is sitting waiting on the bench, the teenage Indian girl Iffat Khan begins to shake and sweat when she sees the poisonous serpent coming toward her, guarded by 2 male guards. He stained it from head to toe, from head to foot, and dressed up in a prisoner's uniform. When he sat on the opposite side and faced her, she began to shake more, and her heart began to beat faster and louder as if it were an African drum or an Indian tabla. When he greeted her in the Persian language, she could not talk. Her voice failed her, even though her mouth was open. He raised his voice and shouted at her, and and she forced herself to reply to his greeting. The first question the old man asked Iffat was about his faithful Afghani security guard, and she told him that he had been arrested by the Indian police at the Mumbai International Airport for reasons unknown to her. This information had filled the old man's heart with fear. The first thought that arose in his disturbed mind is that his Indian wife Iffat might run away without anyone to guard her. Concealing his fear, he began to instruct her on what to do. First, he warned her that if she tried to run away from him, he had more than 100 Indian dangerous gangsters called Gundas who could easily find her and cut her into small bits and pieces. Secondly, he told her not to tell anyone that she is his fourth Muslim wife, but she must say that he is his Indian servant in Iran. Thirdly, he told her not to open her burqa or allow anyone to see her face. She had to be hidden inside her black niqab even when she was in her hotel room. After giving her those strict instructions, he began to tell her what to do for him. The first assignment the old man gave to his first wife was to take a taxi, go to the Churchgate area in downtown Bombay, and deliver a letter that he had written to the manager of the Abu Dhabi International Bank. The letter is written in Arabic. Like his obedient maidservant, the Indian wife Iffat Khan took a taxi and headed to the address written on the letter. When she reached the bank, she first showed the letter to an Indian female employee, who then passed it on to an Arab male employee. The Arab man read the letter and understood that it was addressed to the bank manager, so he directed Iffat to the office of his manager. In the letter, the old man has requested the manager of the bank to send one of the bank employees with the necessary forms so that he could make a joint account with his Indian wife, Iffat Khan, who has brought the letter to him. He requested the bank not to allow his Indian wife to withdraw more than 1,000 rupees in a day. The manager filled out the forms and asked Iffat Khan to affix her signature. But when the Indian wife admitted to being illiterate, he suggested she simply use her thumbprint. After that, the manager asked one of his Arab employees to accompany the wife of their important Saudi client to jail to get his signature. On that day, the obedient Indian wife, Iffat Khan, has to pay a couple of $100 more to the jail guard whom she has bribed before to allow her to revisit the old man for the second and the third times. The Indian guard had never become so happy and felt enriched as that day. In a few hours, he made 21,000 rupees when his monthly salary was only 3,000 rupees. According to the jail rules, The same person is not allowed to visit his or her relative prisoner more than once a day. However, that day, Iffat revisited her Saudi husband thrice, and each time she paid $100, not as a bribe. After the old man signed the joint account forms, Iffat went back to the Abu Dhabi International Bank and got her own bank card and account book. As instructed in the Arabic letter, the bank allowed her to withdraw only 1,000 rupees. She is told by the manager she can use her bank card to eat in a restaurant or to rent a room in a hotel. The manager also followed the instructions of the letter and took 1,000 US dollars from Iffat Khan and exchanged it for 70,000 Indian rupees. Iffat has brought with her a couple of $1,000 from Iran. After that, the first wife returned to visit her Saudi husband for the third time. A second assignment is appointing a lawyer. Her husband told her to go to Mumbai High Court, find the best lawyer, and bring him to meet him in jail. Specifically, the old man said that the lawyer should be a Muslim. Since it is evening time, the High Court might already be closed by now. He told her to go to Kulaba area, find a hotel, and book in. But she is told not to stay in a hotel that would charge more than 500 rupees per day. Iffat, like a very obedient wife, stopped a taxi, asked the driver to take her to any hotel at Kolaba that charges 500 rupees. The driver responded by saying he knew of no decent hotel that had rates so low, but Iffat had no intention of seeing the old Munastar for the first time that day. So she told the cab driver just to take her to any nearby hotel that charges only 500 rupees per day. The cabby took her to a cheap motel at Bombay Central, which charged it 499 rupees per night. The last time the Indian wife had eaten was aboard the Iranian passenger jet. She was starving as she entered her room, but she was so exhausted she would have slept without food if the hotel front desk had informed her room to ask whether she wanted to order food from the hotel restaurant before it closed in an hour. So she ordered a rush meal before going to sleep. She fell asleep wearing the same burqa she had been wearing since she left Tehran. She came with a small travel handbag that held a couple of dresses and a few inner clothes. She has two black burqas, two dresses, and one pair of spare shoes. That is all. She had never traveled by herself, and she was completely ignorant of the outside world. She's acting as if she is a Tarazana, not in lion's clothing, but an African jungle girl in a black burqa who came from the forest, and this is her first real human contact. The old man had succeeded in changing her from a human being into a domestic animal with two legs or a robot without a brain and human will. As soon as she woke up from her sleep, Iffat left the hotel, took a taxi to Mumbai High Court. Finding a lawyer in Mumbai is as easy as seeing a policeman in the street. Lawyers do not stay in their offices. They gather every day in the courtyard of the court and chase after people. As soon as you enter the courtyard, tens of advocates will come running to you and offer to defend you in court or fight your case anywhere in Mumbai. They would charge you according to your case or your means. As soon as the lawyer saw the Muslima woman in a black burqa, she held attention to 15 of them. She heard them babble in Hindi and Urdu, all talking at the same time. Some venture that Iffat has come to ask for a divorce from her abusive Muslim husband. Some guesses that she wants to marry her Hindu boyfriend without the consent of her Muslim parents. She brushed away both suggestions and asked for a Muslim lawyer to step forward. The crowd around her is now a group of 5, out of which she chose the oldest one because the old man had told her to go for an old and experienced Muslim lawyer. Immediately, the lucky chosen lawyer asked her to sit with him in a corner and tell him her problem so that he could write it down in his notebook, which he is carrying like his school notebooks. Ifa told him she did not have a problem, but she had someone in Arsa Road jail who had a profoundly serious case. She said that she could not tell him what the problem was herself, but that the one inside the jail would relate his legal issue. At first, the Muslim lawyer thought that Iffat Khan was just a black girl who wanted it to fool him and waste his valuable time, and to make sure she was not that kind of a girl, he asked her for advance money. She agreed to give him a couple of 100 rupees. He also said she would be liable for his traveling expenses by taxi, and the burqa girl assured him that she would pay for his taxi trips. Seeing no opposition from the burqa girl, he requested that lunch be on her if the case demanded more time than necessary. Agreeing to all his demands, he waved it to the cab driver and slid into the front seat. He motioned to the Muslim girl to sit in the rear seat because it would be haram for him as a biased Muslim man to sit near a young Muslima woman that is neither his wife nor his daughter. With the taxi racing down the beach street of Marine Drive, the Muslim lawyer took the opportunity to ask the girl who had chosen him all the questions that remained unanswered in his mind. He wanted to know whether the person in the jail, her husband, boyfriend, father, brother, uncle, or a male cousin, is. The burqa-clad girl answered no to all of his questions, and that made him even more curious. He puzzled over the relationship between the Muslima girl and the Arsa Road jail's detainee. He also wanted to know whether she was living and what level of education. He also wanted to know where she was living and what level of education she reached, whether she is married or has a fiancé or a boyfriend, what her age is, and what are her plans. His questions are endless, and Iffat Khan breathed a sigh of relief when the taxi reached the jail. By the way, Indians are very curious people and always ask you unnecessary and silly personal questions which you know is none of them of their concern. For example, if your Indian boyfriend or a Hindu girlfriend phones you in the evening, the first question she will ask you is, "Have you eaten your dinner?" And if you say yes, I have, she will ask you, "What kind of food have you eaten, and what time exactly you had finished your last meal of the day? Another funny question that each Indian loves to ask a foreigner he just meets anywhere. Uh, you are from? He wants you to fill in the blank as if you are in an exam. The second question, what is your good name? Chapter 25, a secret deal. The curious Muslim lawyer has mentally prepared himself to meet anyone in the world inside the jail, even Osama bin Laden or Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, except the one he has seen sitting inside the small visiting room. If he had seen the devil himself with his two horns sitting in the small room, he would not have been more shocked and frightened than when he saw the fair breathing dragon, the Saudi old man, the bedeviled Sheikh Faiz bin Ahmed, sitting without movement as if he is the statue of Buddha. The old geezer is sitting like Iblis, the great Satan, and staring at him. He had seen his photos over 1,000 times in the media these past few months, and he is more familiar with the case than the old man himself. He had discussed it with his family at home, with other Muslim men in the mosque, and with other lawyers at court. He had read the details in newspapers and watched it on all the TV channels. The Muslim lawyer at once knew and understood that he had just been dealt with a high-profile case. After overcoming the shock, the first question he asked himself was, how many millions of rupees should he demand as his fees for trying to defend such an undefendable case? Ifat Khan is now the translator between her Saudi husband and the Muslim lawyer. The old man spoke in Persian and his new lawyer in Urdu. Ifat translated everything as best she could except for the usual Islamic greeting, for which there is no need because each Muslim knows it more than he knows his name. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. First of all, Mr. Sheikh Faiz bin Ahmed, you must know that your case is exceedingly difficult to defend. There is an extraordinarily strong case against you. The police have amassed more than enough proof to convict. Upon conviction, you are probably looking at the hangman's noose or a life imprisonment without a chance of an appeal or a parole. Thus spoke the Muslim lawyer. I haven't called you here for you to tell me that. I want to know whether you will be able to release me from this accursed Hindu prison or not. You are a Muslim man and you must know that I have done nothing wrong. What I have done is in accordance with the Holy Quran and the blessed Sunnah of our gracious Prophet Muhammad. May the peace and praise of Allah be upon him. I had married an 11-year-old Muslimah girl, which is lawful in our blessed Sharia. For your kind information, in Surah Al-Talaq 65, verse 4, the Holy Quran allows every Muslim man to marry a girl before she reaches puberty. Even our gracious Prophet Muhammad had married our blessed mother, Aisha bint Abu Bakr, when she was 6 years old, and had sex with her when she was 9 years old. So what kind of haram act have I done when I married and had sex with an 11-year-old girl? Did she die when I fucked her up? Had I kidnapped her from her parents and raped her? Did I not make the correct nikah contract with her? Did I not pay her father her dowry? Whatever you have done is lawful in our Islamic Sharia and backed up with a verse from our Holy Quran and the authentic hadiths and deeds from the blessed Sunnah of our gracious Prophet Muhammad. May the peace and praise of Allah be upon him. But remember, this is not Saudi Arabia or Iran. This is a Hindu and secular country. It is the land of Al-Kuffar, the unclean infidels. According to the law of this country, what you have done with that Hyderabadi Muslima girl, Amina Hyder Ali, has made you a kidnapper, a rapist, a slave trader of a minor girl. No lawyer can defend you if the case goes to court without making holes in it. We need to make holes and weaken the case before the Mumbai Criminal Court judge makes his final decision on it. In this country, the jurymen are like little puppets in a public show in the hands of the judge. He can move them and make them do whatever he likes. Whatever the main judge decides, they will consent. How can you make holes and weaken the case? Money can weaken the case. You need to be a lot of money for many people. We need to bribe the judge, the police, and the other people. I will not ask you to pay me as much as the Hindu police and the judge may ask for. We need to pay the Mumbai police and Hyderabad police. We need to fill the mouths of the main judge with so much money. We might even need to pay money to the father, mother, sisters, and brothers of the girl in question. And if it is possible, we might get hold of Amina Hyder Ali herself and buy her by our side. We can make her say that her father told her to lie to you and tell you that her age is 17 years. How much money do I need to pay? Crores of rupees. I cannot give you the exact figures now. I must first talk to the main Hindu judge and the police and contact other officials who are handling your case. If I agree to pay that much money, what is my guarantee that I will win the case and be released from this filthy Hindu prison? I will get the judge to sign a secret contract, the same as anyone else who is involved. I will pay 10% of what they ask for, and the rest after I'm released. All judges and policemen in Mumbai ask for 50% before the trial and 50% after it is over and successful, and everything comes in your favor. Can you tell me approximately how much this is going to cost? Roughly 10 crores. How many rupees are in 10 crores? There are 100 million Indian rupees. 100 million Indian rupees is a lot of money. That is what I have said from the beginning. You need to pay a lot of money to come out of this accursed infidel's jail. Otherwise, you will lose your life or die inside this filthy Hindu dungeon. Consider your advanced age. Would you like to die in the Muslim holy lands among your Muslim wives and children, or starve and die like a criminal in this unholy land of the Hindu idolaters? Okay, I'm ready to pay the money, but try to reduce it to 7 or 8 crores. I will try my level best, but I can give you no guarantees. Hindus are very greedy people when it comes to money. Go and talk to the main judge and other police top official and bring to me the exact figures. Inshallah, after 2 weeks, I will come to you with some good news. Barakallahu fiqh, ya akhi fil Islam, said the old man. If it could not translate this Islamic phrase because it is spoken in Arabic. It means, God bless you, my brother in Islamic faith. Before I accept the case officially, I need, as a token, the sum of advance, which is equivalent to 100,000 rupees. Why should I give you money before you talk to those Hindu people? I need money to talk to them. I need to bribe their security guards and those close to them so that I can have access to them. The old man talked to his Indian wife in the Persian language before responding to the demand of the greedy Muslim lawyer. He ordered her to go to the Abu Dhabi International Bank and pay 100,000 rupees to his Muslim lawyer. He said further that if the manager refused to issue the money, then to tell him to send someone from the bank to come and see him in person. Go with my maid servant Iffat Khan to the bank and get the money. The Muslim lawyer remembered that he could not discern the relationship between the young Indian Muslimah girl and the prisoner, but now the cat is out of the bag. He is aware and respectful of the devotion and loyalty this Indian maid servant had for her Arab master. That day, the Indian wife Iffat Khan is compelled to visit her Saudi imprisoned husband 4 times in jail. Firstly, the bank refused to issue the 100,000 rupees without the signature of the old man. Secondly, the signature was rejected twice because the old man's hand was trembling, and that altered his signature because the beatings that he had received during the harsh interrogation caused him to tremble for no reason. Finally, the bank sent one of his employees and confirmed that the old man wanted the Muslim lawyer to get such a big amount of cash. After receiving the money, the lawyer took Iffat Khan back to the prison and made the old man sign the required forms giving him the right to be his legal representative and to start the legal procedure. The old man not only gave the Muslim man the right to represent him in court, but appointed him as the legal security guard and guardian to his young maidservant. He told his Indian wife not to go anywhere without the company of that good Muslim old man. If he did not know that his teenage wife is young and exceptionally beautiful, he would have asked the Muslim man to stay with her inside her room in the hotel and sleep with her on the same bed and vigilantly watch her movements to ensure she would not fall in love with someone or run away from him with a handsome Indian Muslim boy, or a Hindu police inspector might separate her from him. Even if she goes to the bathroom, he would go in with her to make sure she would not be able to break the back window and flee away from her Arab master. But as we know, the Muslim man is not supposed to trust his father or a brother with his wife. This is because the Prophet Muhammad said that in-laws are like death to the wife. Then the Muslim lawyer gave his business card to the so-called loyal and obedient maidservant Iffat Khan and accompanied her to her hotel, and then he left as soon as she got out of the cab. The new guard is not as watchful as the former Afghani terrorist. As soon as he dropped Iffat, he took the remainder of the day off and went to celebrate his windfall of 100,000 rupees with his family. He has neither seen nor received such a big amount of money before. Iffat is supposed to visit her detained Saudi husband every day in jail and do whatever he wants her to do for him. That day, she came back to her hotel at 4:15 p.m. She does not know what to do. She has nothing to do after her newly appointed jail guard escorted her to the hotel and left. She has a small TV in her room, not being connected to cable. It is receiving only local news and it has a few boring channels. She wishes she had a DVD player and an Indian movie to watch. She considered venturing out of the hotel but decided that it would be prudent to stay inside in case the Muslim lawyer saw her and reported her to the old man, resulting in a beating or a worse. After a while, bored, boredom takes hold, and again she is tempted to go out. An idea came to her, and she went down the front desk and told that she was looking for someone to help her get a DVD player and a new Indian movie. The girl at the front desk suggested that instead of spending so much money on buying a DVD player for just one movie, she should go to the movie theater and watch it there. Ifed had never been to a movie theater in all her life. She only knew of them from the movies she had watched in her Tehran prison house. She wants to go to the movie theater, but she is gripped by the fear of being spotted and caught by the Muslim lawyer and punished by her dangerous Saudi husband. The front desk girl wrote down the name of the nearby movie theater and gave it to her. The scared wife Iffet glances at the paper, but she does not know what is written on it. The British Indian girl told her that it is the name of the movie theater that is playing the most popular new Indian movie. Iffet simply went back to her room, opened the window, and began to look at the people who were walking on the street below the hotel. She scanned the street for the Muslim lawyer. She spent 1 hour standing by the window looking for the lawyer. She felt as if she was searching for a coin among the hundreds of people walking on the street below her. Eventually, when she could not see the bearded face of the Muslim lawyer, she came up with a plan and decided to put it into action.